So it might have been Spencer who wrote the first textbook of sociology, but it was Emil Durkheim who produced the first true sociological study. Durkheim's work moved sociology fully out of the realm of social philosophy and helped chart the discipline's course as a social science. In 1895, Durkheim published The Rules of Sociological Method, which is the name of the book, in which he described what sociology was and how research should be done. He also founded the first European department of sociology at the University of Bordeaux. Durkheim believed that individuals were exclusively the products of their social environment and that society shapes people in every possible way. To prove his point, Durkheim studied suicide. He believed that if he could take what was perceived to be a totally personal act and show that it is patterned by social factors rather than exclusively by individuals' mental disturbances, he would provide support for his point of view. People committed suicide because they were members of different social groups that were influenced by a variety of social factors. Durkheim began with the theory that the industrialization of Western society was undermining the social control and support that communities had historically provided for individuals. The anonymity and impersonality they encountered in these urban areas caused many people to become isolated from both family and friends. Further, in modern societies, people were frequently encouraged to aspire to goals that were difficult to attain. Durkheim believed suicide rates were influenced by group cohesion and societal stability. He believed that low levels of cohesion, which involve more individual choice, more self-reliance, and less adherence to group standards, would mean high rates of suicide. To test his idea, Durkheim decided to study the suicide rates of Catholic versus Protestant countries. He assumed the suicide rate in Catholic countries would be lower than in Protestant countries because Protestantism emphasized the individual's relationship to God over community ties. The comparison of suicide records in Catholic and Protestant countries in Europe supported his theory by showing the probability of suicide was indeed higher in Protestant countries. Recognizing the possibility that lower suicide rates among Catholics could be based on factors other than group cohesion, Durkheim proceeded to test other groups, reasoning that married people would have more group ties than single people, or people with children more than people without children, or non-college educated people more than college educated people, because college tends to break group ties and encourage individualism, or Jews more than non-Jews. Durkheim tested each of these groups, and in each case his theory held. Then, characteristic of the scientist that he was, Durkheim extended his theory by identifying three types of suicide: egoistic, altruistic, and anomic, that take place under different types of conditions. According to him, egoistic suicide comes from low group cohesion and under-involvement with others. Durkheim argued that loneliness and a commitment to personal beliefs rather than to group values can lead to egoistic suicide. Therefore, he found that single and divorced people had higher suicide rates than did married people, and that Protestants, who tend to stress individualism, had higher rates of suicide than did Catholics. Now, coming to the altruistic suicide. Altruistic suicide derives from a very high level of group cohesion and over-involvement with others. The individual is so tied to a certain set of goals that he or she is willing to die for the sake of the community. This type of suicide, as Durkheim noted in his time, still exists in the military as well as in societies based on ancient codes of honor and obedience. Perhaps the best known historical examples of altruistic suicide come from Japan in the ceremonial rite of seppuku, in which a disgraced person rips open his own belly, and in the kamikaze attacks by Japanese pilots towards the end of World War II. The Japanese pilots, instead of being morose before the bombing missions that would cause their certain deaths, were often reported to be cheerful and serene. One 23-year-old kamikaze, in a letter to his parents, voiced the feelings of thousands of his fellows when he wrote, "I shall be a shield for His Majesty and die cleanly among with my squadron leader and other friends." There were, said Monsieur, 16 members in his squadron, and he added, "May our deaths be as sudden and clean as the shattering of crystal." Today we often see examples of altruistic suicide in the terrorists who flew the planes into the World Trade Towers and in the Middle Eastern suicide bombers. These individuals are willing to sacrifice their lives for their cause as they blow up a building, plane, or restaurant. In addition to destroying the property, the terrorists often want to kill as many people as possible. Now let's talk about the anomic suicide. Anomic suicide results from a sense of feeling disconnected from society's values. A person might know what goals to strive for but not be able to attain them, or a person might not know what goals to pursue. Durkheim found that times of rapid social change or economic crisis are associated with high rates of anomic suicide. Durkheim's study was important not only because it proved that the most personal of all acts, suicide, is in fact a product of social forces, but also because it was one of the first examples of a scientifically conducted sociological study. Durkheim systematically posed theories, tested them, and drew conclusions that led to further theories. He also published his results for everyone to see and criticize. Durkheim's interests were not limited to suicide. His mind ranged the entire spectrum of social activities. Two of his other classics include The Division of Labor in Society, 1893, and The Elementary Forms of the Religious Life, 1917. In both works, he drew on what was known about non-literate societies as evolutionary precursors of contemporary societies. Durkheim focused on the forces that hold society together, that is, on the functions of various parts of society. This point of view, often called the functionalist theory or functionalist perspective, remains one of the most dominant approaches to the modern study of society. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. Give this video a thumbs up and leave your precious feedback in the comment section below. We will be coming up with more videos like these, so do not forget to press the bell icon so that you can get the updates of the future videos as well. Take good care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.